And my colleague's just going to start recording the session so that anyone who wasn't able to join us will be able to listen to this session afterwards. Welcome everyone, my name's Helen Ripley and I work with the ACCA UK Employers team, and the role of myself and my colleagues is to encourage employers to work with ACCA to train and to support you through your ACCA exams, and we want you to qualify as ACCA members as smoothly and painlessly as possible, to become ACCA members and then to go on to have a rewarding career and to continue to develop through your professional life and your professional career, wherever that might take you. Now, I'm just going to hand over to Stuart Waymont, who just wants to say a few words as well. Over to you, Stuart.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for registering to join this event with us on ACCA. I just really wanted to kick it off and introduce FSD, which you will obviously be familiar with because that's where you will have been to register. To thank ACCA for putting together this presentation with us. You've got my contact details on there, and the reason really for that is because FSD is organised nationally, but we took over the hosting of this particular event for everybody else. So the bookings all went up on the website, but have all been run through South East Coast FSD. Just wanted to make you aware also that many of the FSD teams now have a Twitter account that you can follow if you wish, if you're on Twitter. And what we do in South East Coast with ours is to share information about what sort of events that we're putting on and try and keep people updated through that as another mechanism as well. So I know Helen's going to take you through a number of slides which I've seen a version of this before. I know you'll find very useful. So thank you very much for joining, and thanks to ACCA for hosting. And back to you, Helen.
Great, thanks very much. So actually, can I just say as well, if you're working in quite a noisy office or there's noise in the background, you can put your microphone on mute. You just click on the microphone icon or mute your phone if you've dialed in, and then we won't pick up on the background noise. And obviously if you want to ask a question, you'll need to unmute your microphone. Okay, thanks very much for that contribution, Stuart. And the object of this session is to give you an overview of ACCA, and I want to talk to you about what's involved in studying for ACCA, give you some background on ACCA, and to answer any questions that you might have. I want to also talk to you about the support that you'll get as an ACCA trainee. So I hope you've heard of ACCA already. It's the leading global body for professional accountants. I'm going to tell you a bit about ACCA as we move forward. The whole aim of ACCA, the whole point of ACCA's existence, is to offer business-relevant first-choice qualifications to people of application, ability and ambition around the world who seek a rewarding career in accountancy, finance and management. So I'm hoping that obviously that will apply to all of you here. I just want to give you a flavour to start with of ACCA's global network. And this will show you how wide the ACCA qualification is recognised and the various places that you could work and be recognised as an ACCA member, or that you could study for ACCA. Now, I do appreciate that you're based in the UK at the moment, but I hope that this map will show you that you'll be part of a wider global network should you transfer your studies outside of the UK, work outside of the UK, or just want to share your ideas or working practices or link into that wider global network. Obviously, working in healthcare is something that we can share ideas with globally, and ACCA has done a lot of policy work looking at the way that our different members work in health around the world, and that's something it'd be very good to have your contribution to as ACCA trainees and members too. Now this next slide just gives, sorry, I'm just admitting another person who's in the lobby. This next slide shows you where our ACCA members are based in the profession. You'll see from the pie chart that most of our members are in the financial services corporate sector. About a quarter about a quarter of our members are in practice, and 16% of our members in the public sector, which obviously includes the NHS like yourself. And I think from this pie chart we have a fairly good reflection of the way that the accountancy profession and the different segments of the accountancy profession are ordered. And it also shows the spread of the ACCA qualification. Within these different business sectors, everyone is still working for that same ACCA examination, same qualification, and you will become part of the network and able to share ideas across the different business sectors. Now, this is an important slide to show you because it shows the whole aim of what ACCA is trying to do in developing you as a professional accountant. We want you to become the complete finance professional. So what we've done is we've taken all of these key areas that we want a complete finance professional to cover, either in your career now or in the future, and we've made sure that the ACCA qualification, the practical experience, the online ethics module that I'll tell you about, that we cover all of these key 10 areas. So obviously you do have corporate reporting and financial management in there, which is key to your work in the NHS. And as you move on through your career, you may pick up some tax, audit, you may work with auditors. Governance is key. We have leadership as you move into a team management role. And then, of course, the professional and ethics underpins all of that, as does the stakeholder relationship management. So that's everything all coming together under that competency framework. And we've done a lot of policy work on this complete finance professional approach in relation to you as an accountant, and this is just a good visual that we have to demonstrate that we've used it to underpin a lot of this policy work. Now, this slide I wanted to show you because it gives a good flavour of the support that ACCA offers to you. The big thing, and that's at the bottom in the light bulb there, is that we give you 24-hour support 7 days a week through our call centre. Now, that's not the only support that we give you. One thing that I'd really recommend to you is that you download the ACCA Planner app, which you can download onto your iPhone or your Android or your tablet. That will give you all of the key dates for the ACCA exams, reminders to register for the exams, that sort of thing. And as soon as you're registered with ACCA, you'll start to receive ACCA's Student Accountant magazine. It's delivered electronically, and from that you'll get a lot of really vital support that will underpin any of the lecture notes or the study manuals that you have through attending college. You'll have a direct link through that magazine to the ACCA examiners. You'll be able to find out what's in the head, what are the key topics. You'll be able to look at examiners' comments after the exams, and all sorts of really important information from ACCA. And similarly, as you move through to ACCA membership, the support will stay with you there. Now, the next thing I want to do is the information on the ACCA qualification. So you can see from the screen that you have here in front of you, there are 3 key components to ACCA membership: the exams, the ethics, and the experience. And I'm going to talk through those 3 next. So firstly, let's have a look at the ACCA exams. You start off with the knowledge exams, and these may be available. You may be exempt from some of these depending on exams that you already have covered or qualifications that you already have, and we will touch on exemptions in a moment. So let's have a look at the knowledge exams. Now, those 3 exams here are pegged at roughly the equivalent of the first year of an undergraduate degree. So that's the sort of the knowledge level that you'll be looking at. We give you coverage in F2 of management accounting, in F3 of financial accounting, and F1 gives you all of the wider context of a professional accountant in business. And then moving on from the knowledge level, we start to build on what you've covered. So we've got the skills level, and 3 of the skills papers all build on what you've already covered in the knowledge level, and we introduced 3 new subjects which complement them all: corporate and business law, taxation, and audit and assurance. Now, with those knowledge exams, the first 3 are all available as computer-based examinations if you prefer to complete them in that way, and you can complete your computer-based examinations at your tuition provider. BPP and Kaplan, for example, give you the opportunity to do that. And from December this year as well, very pleased to announce that the paper F4, the corporate and business law paper, is available as a computer-based examination as well. And then slowly, probably from 2016 onwards, we haven't made the official announcement yet, some of the further exams will be available as computer-based examinations, but we will retain the paper-based option as well. So we ask that you go through the exams in any order that you wish to sit them, but that you complete the knowledge and skills module before you go on to the professional module, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. Although you can complete some of the remaining skills papers alongside the professional papers. If you just have one, say one of the skills papers outstanding, you could complete it alongside the professional papers. So the professional exams are what then completes your ACCA qualification. Firstly, we have 3 essentials papers. The first one, Governance, Risk and Ethics, introduces these key subjects here, and it's a really important paper for ACCA. The corporate reporting and business analysis, again, will build on what you've covered in the knowledge and the skills areas. And then we ask that you choose 2 option papers from the last 4 papers, P4 through to P7. And it's really up to you and your discussions with your line manager or workplace mentor and perhaps your tuition provider to decide which of the option papers is the most appropriate for you, looking at your future career, your aspirations, business need, and also the areas that you're really interested in as well. Now, at this point, I'd just like to ask if there are any questions, if there's anything that I haven't covered. Is there anybody would like to ask? Okay, well, if any questions do come up, then feel free to, you can type them in the box at the bottom, or I will stop during the presentation and ask for questions, or there will be time at the end to ask questions as well. Now, I'm just going to go back to the previous slide with the knowledge and skills papers, because what I'd like to do is to add in some information about 2 diplomas that ACCA has. Once you've completed your 3 knowledge papers, F1, 2 and 3, if you complete a short online module, which is called Foundations in Professionalism, you'll then be eligible to have the Foundations in Accountancy Diploma in Accounting and Business. And that means that you've got a standalone qualification that you can stop after that one qualification, or you can use it as a springboard for going on to the rest of ACCA. But it does mean that along the way you've got a recognised qualification on your CV. And then building on from that, once you've completed those next 6 papers and completed up to paper F9, then you'll be awarded with the ACCA Advanced Diploma in Accounting and Business. Again, so you've got a qualification on the way to completing your ACCA full professional exams. Okay, so I mentioned earlier on the ethics module. Once you are eligible to sit paper P1, the first of the professional papers, ACCA will send you an email that will have a link to the online ACCA ethics module. And it's a piece of work that we ask that you complete before you finish all of your exams and become an ACCA member. It's not an extra exam. You're not expected to prepare for it. It takes between 2 and 4 hours approximately to complete, although it will vary. It's very interactive and it's actually very enjoyable, very interesting as far as that sort of thing goes. And it sits very nicely alongside paper P1. The International Federation of Accountants has asked all of the professional bodies that we give you this important grounding in ethics so that you go on to develop your professional ethics alongside your qualification. So it's very important that you complete this ethics module before you go through to ACCA full membership. Another really interesting aspect of the ACCA qualification is ACCA's partnership with Oxford Brookes University. Once you've completed the ACCA papers F1 through to F9, you are eligible then, if you wish, it's not a requirement, it's just an option that you have. You are eligible to complete a research and analysis project, which is a little bit like a final year university dissertation, and then you'll be awarded with a BSc honours degree from Oxford Brookes University. You don't have to do any extra exams to do that, and the only extra payment is the payment to have the research and analysis project marked, and that would be by Oxford Brookes University. At the moment, the cost of that marking is about, I think it's £175. It varies slightly each year, goes up slightly. So compared to the £9,000 a year that you would spend with your tuition fees for a bachelor's degree, £175 on top of your ACCA is really quite a drop in the ocean. And it's a really good way of getting a degree on your CV if you haven't gone to university. Or if you've done an arts degree, you can take this opportunity to get a BSc alongside an arts degree. Or one student I came across had done an arts degree, but she hadn't actually done a research and analysis project, so she was keen to do the Oxford Brookes degree option so that she could do the in-depth study through the Oxford Brookes degree. Again, does anyone have any questions on the Oxford Brookes degree partnership? Anything that anyone wanted to raise? Okay, well, I'll move on, but again, please do raise any questions if you have them. Right, now the next thing that I want to talk to you about is practical experience. As well as completing your exams and completing the ethics module, the last component is practical experience. Oh, and I've just seen a question come up about the workplace mentor, and does it have to be somebody who's ACCA qualified? No, it doesn't, and we will. That's something that we'll move on to just in the next couple of slides. So you need to have 36 months in a relevant role, so in a finance or finance-related role. The 36 months can be before, during, or after you've completed your ACCA exams, and it doesn't have to run consecutively. If you've done AAT already, you can go back and include some of the time when you were doing your AAT. If you did a sandwich year placement as part of a degree, that can be included towards your practical experience. If you don't work full-time, we ask that you prorate your 36 months. So, for example, if you work 2.5 days a week, you would need to get 72 months in total. And that 36 months must cover at least 13 performance objectives. And we'll talk a little bit more about those in detail in a moment. There are 9 essential performance objectives and 4 optional technical performance objectives. So the next slide shows you a list of the performance objectives. There's 20 objectives. The first 9 are all focused on things like professionalism, ethics, personal effectiveness and management. And we'll probably come into your competency-based job description if you have one. And even though they are in your job description, we need to see that you have these, you've covered these, and that they're signed off by your workplace mentor. And I'll talk in a moment about the role of the workplace mentor. There are areas that it's very difficult for ACCA to actually examine you in an academic type setting. So we need to make sure that your workplace mentor has verified that you have this experience in the workplace. So that covers the first 9 performance objectives, and then you must also supplement them with some technical objectives. And we have a list of 11 technical objectives, and we'd like you to cover at least 4 of them. Now, it's important that when you're setting your own workplace performance objectives, to have an eye on these ACCA objectives so that you can start to shape your practical experience so that you will cover the required performance objectives here for your ACCA qualification. The objectives are signed off electronically. You don't have to keep a paper-based logbook, which is how people used to, when I qualified, that's how we used to complete our performance objectives. The completion of the performance objective is all done online, and you'll be given a designated area of the ACCA website, which we call My Experience, to complete your performance objectives on there. For each performance objective that you want to claim, we give you 3 challenge questions, and your responses to the challenge questions will show that you've achieved the performance objectives. And we ask that you have a workplace mentor who will sign off your performance objectives. Generally, people in the NHS tend to have their own line manager or whoever completes their performance review as their workplace mentor. We ask that your workplace mentor, the person that signs off your performance objectives, is a qualified accountant. Obviously, we'd like it if they were ACCA qualified accountants, but it's fine if it's somebody who's qualified with one of the other professional bodies, for example, CIMA, SIP, ICAW. If you find yourself in the position that your line manager is not a qualified accountant, perhaps they might be a part qualified accountant, then what we ask is that they still review and sign off your performance objectives using the electronic sign-off. But we ask that you then print paper copies of each performance objective that they signed off, and that somebody else in the organisation, perhaps the FSD lead, then countersigns those and adds their professional qualification, just to give that high-level seal of approval, because we really are relying on the professional judgment of your workplace mentor. Now, you may be in the fortunate situation that you're exempt from some of the ACCA examinations, and that will depend on whether or not you've covered any related relevant qualifications in the past, for example, a business studies degree or an accountancy degree. There's an online tool on the ACCA website that you can go on to, and I'm just showing you a screenshot here for somebody who has a BSc from Warwick University, and you can see that this degree has given them exemptions from all of the first nine examinations apart from F8. All of the first 9, the first 9 papers, not qualifications, all of those first 9 papers are eligible for exemptions. So if you've done any prior qualification, it's certainly worth having a look on the exemptions database. If you can't find it, I can help you, or you could call the ACCA Connect help desk and we can check your exemptions. Anyone who's got the AAT qualification will be exempt from papers F1, 2 and 3, so they'll be exempt from all of that knowledge section and go straight onto the skills module. Are there any questions about exemptions?
Helen, can I just chip in on exemptions?
Yes, please. Yes.
It was really a question about how valuable are the exemptions to people, and do you that people who have exemptions potentially struggle a bit further up the line? I'm not phrasing that very well, but what I really mean is, we want people to be taking all the exemptions, or is there some value in doing some of the basics beforehand?
What I'd advise anyone who's got any worries at all about exemptions is to go onto the ACCA website, and it's publicly available. You don't have to be registered. You can look at the syllabus, you can look at study guides, so you can reassure yourself that you're comfortable in claiming the exemption. The problem, there are problems sometimes if people are getting an exemption from a qualification that they've studied a lot of years ago. And in that case, sometimes the employers will suggest that they actually go over that course again, that they can attend a revision course, they can complete the course, or they can just work through the study module. I'm sorry, somebody's just put in a question here. The exemptions that you are allowed will depend on your degree, any options that you took, where you studied, and when you graduated. So each degree is assessed in isolation. So there's no sort of set number of exemptions for a degree. What I need you to do is to go onto the website and check your exemptions. And there isn't a time limit on claiming the exemptions. Obviously, the further away you are from studying, the more you may need to do some revision if you're claiming exemptions. And Angie's put the link to the exemptions calculator in the chat box there, which is you can go straight to it from there. Does that sort of answer your question, Stuart?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't know if it's brilliant, but I think I've understood it. Thank you. Right, I'm just trying to move on, but my computer's not letting me. Aha. No, I just wanted to put this picture up just to give you a bit of wider context of where some of our students are working. Obviously, you can see Hayley there in the middle from the NHS. And the other pictures there will give you an idea of where other students work, and you may well be working alongside them when you're at college studying for your ACCA exams or in other ACCA networking events. And it's great that you can share ideas and work experiences with these people. We tend to find that people working in the NHS, you get a really good variety of experience from different parts of finance. You can do lots of different roles. So it's great that you'll be able to compare those, for example, with the guy who's at B&Q and find out what his role covers. And I put this slide up because we have Stephanie here, who's been great at giving us lots of information about her role, and has featured in one of our ACCA brochures, which just gives you some more idea about the breadth of the ACCA qualification and links nicely back to that complete finance professional slide that I showed you earlier. So the next thing to do, I think, I strongly advise you to have a look at your exemptions, to go online, and if you decide you want to register with ACCA, it's a simple online process. The ACCA website's got all the information on all of the ACCA papers and all of the aspects that I've taught you, and lots more information on studying, study tips, that sort of thing. The Student Accountant magazine that I mentioned earlier, that's available if you want to have a look at that, as is the Student Planner app that you can download. So here we've got my contact details and also the details of ACCA Connect, which is the 24-hour helpline that I mentioned before. There's also a really good ACCA Facebook page. There's lots of unofficial ones, but it's the official one that I'd urge you to join. There's a lot of interactive stuff on the Facebook page, links to some of the tuition providers, so you can go on there and take part in discussions and also get support as you're coming up to your ACCA exams, which is really helpful and really supplements your revision and what you've done with your own tuition provider. So, are there any more questions that anyone would like to raise, or you can either ask me them or put them in the chat box. I think there is one question just coming through just at the moment. And Julian has asked, is there a forum for ACCA students? Was that there is the Facebook page, there's Twitter, and we use LinkedIn. I think Facebook's possibly the most active one for ACCA students. And Daniel's asked about revision sessions based in East Kent. I think the best thing to do is to look at the tuition providers. There is, on the student section of the ACCA website, there's a list of all of the tuition providers, and you can search on the county, so you can see where they're based. And I think in Kent you've got quite a good mixture, quite a good choice there, and you can get in touch with them all individually and see basically which is the best one for you, location-wise and also timing-wise. Yes, I can, and somebody's asked about sending the slides around. Yes, I'm happy to send the slides. If I could send them to Stuart, and if that's okay to then send them around to everyone.
I'm happy to send the slides around to everybody, and we will share the recording as well when we've decided exactly how we're going to do that.
Yes, it's quite technically demanding. Thank you, and thanks, Angie's just put down. My colleague's just put down the link to the tuition providers, which is really helpful. I think we've got another question coming in. And I think if you don't have any questions, I think we can tie it up for them. But anyone who does have any questions, you're very welcome to stay on the line. So thanks very much for everyone for joining this session. It's brilliant to see so many of you. Please do keep in touch through the Facebook, the Twitter. You have my contact details, and I'll send the slides round. And also do use, I've got my contact details if you've got any questions, or the ACCA Connect. If you have a burning question at midnight on a Sunday, they'll still be very pleased to hear from you. Thanks very much then, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Helen. That was really brilliant. I enjoyed it. It was brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of FSD, just thank you to Helen. Thank you to you guys for all logging in. It looks like we had quite a good turnout for this one, and actually the number of questions that have been asked has been really good as well.
There have been, yes, thank you.
So thank you very much. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.